Good morning. I'm Linda Smith, and I'm the treasurer here at First Baptist. I just want to give you an update on our current financial situation. To start off, May was good. There were 5 Sundays for giving this year, and so income was higher than last year. Expenses were lower than last year. This resulted in a net income for the month. Thank you for your generosity in supporting the food drive and your regular tithes and offerings. So now looking at year to date, at the end of May, we are $39,000 behind budget year to date. And yes, this is worse than it was at the same time last year when we were only $28,000 behind budget. Income is lower this year than it was last year, even though we had 1 more Sunday for giving. It is encouraging to me to see that the giving income has increased slightly each month as we've moved from January to May. Expenses are lower than last year, but still higher than income. Some expenses decrease because people are not meeting here in the church buildings. For example, fuel consumption to heat the buildings is 20% lower this year compared to last year. Therefore, heating costs are lower. Our discretionary spending is down. A few examples are less Wednesday night suppers, less youth expense, less bus transportation. We're in a challenging time right now. Ministries of the church are still happening, although some are in a different form. We are making every effort to reduce expenses where possible.
So just picking up where Linda left off, I'm going to take a look at the projections going forward. And we've chunked it up into 2 segments. One is up to the end of August of 2020. And then the other is really some guesswork looking further out to the end of 2020. So if you think of through the summer to the end of August, what we've built up through May is that we're about $1,200 per week behind the giving of last year. So that's where we're starting off with the deficit that Linda referred to earlier, even though we've had 1 more Sunday of giving. Loose offerings, of course, there's basically none because we can't meet together, and those that give loose offerings aren't able to do so. Our special offering at Easter was down from last year. So what we're projecting out to the end of August is a larger deficit than where we are to date. On the expense side, some of the positives are that we qualified for what's called the Canadian Emergency Wage Subsidy. And actually yesterday, Linda and I were in the church and we actually physically received that check in the mail yesterday. So over the summer, what we will qualify with that is about a $30,000 wage subsidy, which will go to offset wages that we've incurred already. The foundation, it eliminated 3 months of our mortgage payment. So in order for us to preserve cash flow, we were looking at all expenses, and that's one that their letter actually came to us automatically, and council approved to take advantage of that. As Linda mentioned, ministries expenses are down, discretionary expenses are down. And while this is helping us financially now, it does mean that those ministries aren't incurring, and us investing into people's lives isn't happening in a way that we may want. And as well, we have, of course, Andy and Sandy's departures, which will help us again cash flow wise, but that will provide some significant challenges for ministries as we go forward. So as you can see on screen, by the end of August, we expect to be about a $50,000 deficit. And then through the fall and into Christmas of 2020, so up to the end of December, there still is so much uncertainty. And we as a finance team have committed to keep these projections and the forward looking up to date with as current information as we can. Weekly donations, special offerings and loose, we're focused on watching those on a regular basis to see where those are trending. And the need, once we get more stability, to look at what will be fall ministry and how do we staff that and how do we run what that is while we consider the financial impact of those things. So we have before you 2 challenges. So I mentioned a $50,000 deficit to the end of August, and we've come up with 2 challenges for you to consider as you think about your giving over the next few months in order for us to be able to financially work our way through 2020 and end it on a financially sound basis, as well as fulfill the ministries and the calling that God has for us during this time and in this place. So challenge number one, I'm calling the tithe on tithe. And simply what that is if you look at your annual giving, if you would prayerfully consider doing a 10% additional donation or increasing your giving by 10%. Now, we do understand that a lot of people have been significantly challenged by these difficult times, and many, all of you are giving sacrificially. But it is a challenge that we'd like to present to help us with the financial difficulties that we have at this point in time. So up on screen, I've showed you that, it's pretty simple math. If you're giving $1,000 a year, it would be a $100 additional gift. If you're giving $2,000 a year, it would be a $200 additional gift, and so on. So pretty simple to follow. And if you would prayerfully consider whether you're being called to do that to help us out during these times. And the second challenge that I will issue is what I'm calling the summer staycation donation. It is really to challenge you to think about when you've normally gone away to the cottage or away for the summer. A couple of things. One is stay connected with the church. We're doing this online now, and whether you're sitting in your living room here or at the cottage, or if we're able to travel outside the province somewhere else, please stay connected with the church. But our giving goes down on a monthly basis about $13,000 a month based on history in the summer months. Each month it'll go down by, so approximately $26,000 decrease this summer. And our challenge for those of you who have not signed up for automatic giving or who are able to stay connected through the summer, if you could prayerfully consider how you can continue to give at your current level throughout the summer months. And that would obviously have a significant impact on us being able to end the year on a financially healthy balance. So I'm going to flip it back over to Linda.
So just to wrap up, I just want to say thank you. We know many of you give sacrificially through the year. So we want to thank you for considering these two challenges, the tithe on tithe and the summer staycation donation, so that our church will be able to enter 2021 on solid financial position. Thank you for your continued support.